Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Fajri Dunia Sabri. I'm a student of University of Mataram, or I'm a college of University of Mataram. And now, in this video, this is the third video of my YouTube channel. I'm gonna explain you about the impact of social media on interpersonal communication. Before we move to the video, or next to the next part, I'm gonna tell you about this video. In this video, I'm gonna explain you about 5 parts about the impact of social media on interpersonal communication. So let's check this out. In the part one is we talk about the impact. So the impact of social media on interpersonal communication is very large in the environment of teenagers. Today's teenager, or better known as Gen Z, are more likely to use abbreviated words. As an example, when a teenager is talking to his friends, we must often hear words like OTW, Lamau, BRB, Chimiwil, and there are other examples of events that are currently viral in the South Jakarta area or Jaksel teenager. They tend to combine two languages in English and Indonesian, between English and Indonesian. This, of course, will be a detrimental thing because it will become a habit when we are talking to our parents, because it will be considered impolite. Okay, now we talk about the influence of Uli Teresia's account, or at Uli Teresia, wrote an example of the language style of Jaksel children. He says in Indonesia, gue tuh udah nggak muda lagi. Gue kemarin ketemu sama orang yang lebih muda dari gue. Gue literally nggak percaya. Terus gue nyadar gitu. Ternyata gue tuh masih muda. Gue bingung banget karena gue masih young, wild, and free. Anak Jaksel. And there is a language that is often used on social media. Number one is formal language. Formal language is language that is written and used in accordance with the forms and sounds that have been determined as standard language. Number two is informal language. Informal language is, or non-formal language is, language whose writing and use are not in accordance with standard language rules. Number three is regional language. Regional language is the language used in each region. Local language is also a symbol of pride and as the identity of the region itself. Number four, it's slang. Slang is the language that is often used by the Gen Z right now. According to Nur Hasana in 2004, slang is language style that is a development or modification of various languages, including Indonesian. So slang does not have a definite language. For example, in Indonesian, in formal situation, we say kamu. It becomes lo or loeh in slang right now. And there is one example again, like words aku, it becomes gue or guej. And people right now, or especially teenagers right now, often use abbreviations like lemau or logging my ass off to express something that is very funny or intriguing. Another example is most people in Indonesia right now always says OTW or on the way when they want to let you know that they'll be here soon. But in fact, he was laying on the bed, or he does not he don't prepare himself. Visual communication on social media. Nowadays, the use of emojis and image is very important for social media users, especially teenagers, to express their emotions or moods, and also as a tool to avoid misunderstanding or miscommunication. Sorry, between social media users. Sometimes mistakes or typo in sending an emoji can cause this a big problem, because one word we want to say will have a different meaning if the emoji we send is different from that we feel, from what we feel or what we want to say. Especially now that many teenagers use set emojis to express feelings about something that is very funny and intriguing. And is the phenomenon that become very famous in teenagers right now. I don't know why. Now, in part 4, I'm gonna tell you about the positive impact and negative impact. We're gonna go for the negative impact of social media languages first. Number one is teenagers are less familiar with standard language, so they no longer use good and correct Indonesian language. Number two, teenagers are no longer using the EYD, or Indonesia we call it ejaan yang disempurnakan. Number three is teenagers underestimate the Indonesian language and do not want to learn good and correct Indonesians. Number four, teenagers are not accustomed to using standard Indonesian, while the use of Indonesian must be understood because it is done for various kind of works, correspondence, official talks, etc. And number five, this is the worst thing, the fading of pride in the national language of Indonesia. However, not every language on social media has a negative impact or effect. There are there are also positive effects with the existence of social media language. Uh, Number one is we can creating a creativity of teenagers in creating new language and creating a more an atmosphere, creating a more fun atmosphere, which in the sense what uh, in the sense that if you use standard language continuously, you will feel bored quickly. Okay, so now on the last part of this video, I'm gonna tell you about the points of every part that I have been explaining before. So the point of part 1 is today's teenagers, or better known as Gen Z, are more likely to use abbreviated words and mix the language between Indonesian and English. The points of part 2 is there are four language that is often used on social media. On social media, it's formal language, informal language, regional language, and slang. The point of part 3 is the function of emojis and to express emotion or mood, and also to avoid or miscommunication between social media users. Number the point of part 4 is the negative impact of language on social media. Our teenagers are less familiar with standard language. Teenagers are no longer using the AED or AYD or ejaan yang disempurnakan. Teenagers underestimate the Indonesian language, and teenagers are not accustomed to using standard Indonesia, and also the fading of pride in the national language of Indonesia. for positive impact, there are two. Is creating a creativity of teenagers and creating a more fun atmosphere. So I think that's all for me. I hope you understand what I'm saying about the social media impact in personal communication, and I hope this can be uh, show you that there is a negative and a positive impact using languages in social media. So I hope this can be a warning too, of course for me and all of you too. Thank you, and see you and see you on next video. Bye bye.